The Christmas is coming, going. They're never waiting. It's raining again and again and again and again and again.
Christmas is a-comin', the geese are getting back. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. If you haven't got a penny, a halfpenny will do. If you haven't got a halfpenny, then God bless you. God bless you, gentlemen, God bless you. If you haven't got a halfpenny, then God bless you. Christmas is a-comin', look out for Twinkle Elf, making Christmas cigarettes all by himself. If he hasn't got a filter tip, a ball of dung will do. If he hasn't got a dung ball, he's got some curly shoe. God bless Twinkle Elf, God bless ye. Your Christmas shoes are curly as can be. Fa-la, 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 fa-la. Fa-la, 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 fa-la. God bless you, gentlemen, God bless you. If you haven't got a turkey leg, then God bless you.
Welcome to the New Millennium Podcast, bros. I am your host, Brian Millman, and today we have former XTV. I always want to say NXTV heavyweight champion, but he's a former NXTV heavyweight champion. Xketcz, bros. He's here. He actually came to my house. We sat down for maybe an hour and 15 minutes or so. Really, really cool guy. Very honest about his opinion. He's very open. And I really think you're gonna like this interview, guys. He definitely, shares a whole lot of perspective and, his vision on, NXTV, and it's actually pretty consistent with with what everybody is saying. Everybody who I've actually talked to from NXTV, they all talk about that togetherness that they have, and it's a really awesome thing that it's almost like they've become their own thing, and XTV is its own thing, and it's supposed to be a feeder system into XTV. So really, really excited about seeing how things turn out for NXTV and for Xketcz, bros. I mean, you guys have seen him in the ring. He's already done everything it is to do. We actually get into that. So yeah, bros. That's who my interview is today, and I don't have any Big Trunks D-Matic flubs right now, but I'm working on it. As a matter of fact, stay tuned to the end of the show and we're going to hear from Trunks. But right now, bros, let's get into my interview with Xketcz. So I'm sitting here with former NXTV heavyweight champ. I think longest reigning NXTV champion. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, so what's going on, man? Xketcz, ladies and gentlemen, is in the building. What's up, Million? It's a cool place you have here. Yeah, we're inside of my kitchen actually right now. I'm having Xketcz over, and we're actually looking at some of his old indie matches. Hey, I don't know why they don't upload it to XTV World or whatever, but I think that it's some really cool stuff. Because they have me actually fighting up against people like Will Ospreay and different people like that all across the world that people are familiar with. So I think it'd be cool. Yeah, you definitely have some real, dynamic ideas. Even in the commentary, I always hear Gorgon talk about, just your style. I mean, where do you get that style? Well, I'm a street, kind of guy. From the streets. And what we used to do in our neighborhood was dance. Dancing was a big part of the culture where I'm from.
So actually,
And where exactly are you from?
I'm also from Blackpool, just like B-Boy.
Oh, okay, bro.
Yeah, so that was just a big thing, and that's pretty much the style that I tried to integrate into my wrestling style. But at the same time, that's kind of how I started out, and then B-Boy kind of had that style, and the way him and Roxanne kind of brought that to the XTV world. It just made me like, all right, if I'm ever going to get over there, I have to kind of sort of switch up my style, and I can't really be like them. So, basically, you know, I just kind of cut it out, you know what I mean, and just kind of did things different. They inspired me a lot. Both of those two. Really close with them. We've been close, ever since we were kids, and they definitely, inspire my style.
That's really cool. Like, how did you guys, end up being together? Like, I mean, what was life like as, a kid, growing up with David B-Boy?
Well, actually, we were like, kind of went to the same schools, and as youngsters, in the beginning, like we didn't kind of know each other. We were just, sort of in the same classes, and you know, just passing by. We went to the same schools every year and things like that. And one day, I'm just sitting there and I'm reading a magazine, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm reading a WWE magazine." And he's like, "Yo, man, so you into wrestling?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of dig it." And that's when we kind of immediately became friends. And we kind of figured out that we were sort of into all the same things. And we just kind of clicked. He's like a brother to me.
Yeah, you guys definitely have that chemistry. It kind of makes me wonder, like, why, like, didn't you guys even have, like, why didn't you guys even come in together at the same time?
Oh, the truth about that is that, when Roxanne and David got the call from XTV, they actually called me as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they called me, and they called us all for a tryout, and I just didn't get picked, and so I just got on sort of clawing at it, while they were sort of becoming XTV famous, so to speak, and I was still just trying to figure my way, but they told me that that they liked me, but they didn't have anything for me, and I guess it was just like they wasn't used to picking people that were British or whatever. I think that B-Boy and Roxanne are the first to ever really cross over and being mainstream XTV stars. So props to them for that, and being able to break out. But I think that now that wrestling is becoming more of a diverse and international sensation, that XTV is becoming. You see what it is now. It's XTV world. It was just and at the time, when we would when I was trying to get my contract, it was still TXG, and they were like, yeah, we're going to be in TXG, and things like that. But so now I think that it's being more open, and they have a spot for me, obviously.
Exactly. I mean, being the NXTV heavyweight champ, we mentioned you being the longest reigning NXTV heavyweight champion, and it's just like, wow. I mean, how was that experience? I mean, like, what has been the experience for you, like, since being on XTV, and just like the way people really respond to you, bro?
It's actually truly humbling, because it's over there, and if you remember we did your podcast, and you guys mentioned me. You guys put me on stage. B-boy completely trashed me. Yeah, but it's we do that to each other. We joust each other, and people they misconstrue it. They go, if that's your friend, how can he do that to you? But the truth is, we rib each other all the time. Exactly. So, what the truth is, I'm sorry. What was the question?
The response, bro. Like,
Oh yeah, that's right. So, it's been yeah, like I said, it was truly humbling. Just they told me that they had expectations for me. Justin told me that. He told me that that I was one of the major players. He said he personally came to me and told me that I was one of the major ones, and that B-boy of course had this idea because B-boy was the one that kept on kind of egging them on to bring me on. He was very anxious, and Miss Martha welcomed me with open arms, and it was like just really cool to finally be here and get the nod from Ernest, because it's it's cutthroat world, and like the way it was, people have to understand that the way NXTV was when it first came into existence, it was a thing where it was not accepted. Like, it was not a thing that like people were looking forward to seeing anybody. It was a thing where like everybody who was on that roster, like present day, they all were just complete nobodies to everybody. And in this world of XTV, if you know it and you study it, you see that like people are always trashing each other, and that's why I say, me and B-boy, we rib each other all the time, so we could take it. We got real thick skin, and I just didn't expect. That's what I was going to say earlier, that I didn't expect that the response that I got across seas. I didn't think that it would necessarily kind of transmit over here as well, in the world of XTV, and it's just like that's what's humbling to me. It's like, wow, all these people actually care.
Yeah, you even got a shout out on Justin's podcast on one of XTV's biggest. Actually, I think XTV's biggest partner, bro, is J&W Boss and AOA, and I think he said that you're actually his favorite wrestler because of your theme music, bro.
Yeah, that's it's an awesome thing, to be someone's favorite guy. And people, people have really, responded to me very positively. I don't have any ribs pulled on me, honestly. Like, people haven't really, shit on me. This killer, but he's funny as hell. It just makes me laugh because he's always picking on my voice. And he's always saying that I'm sick or something.
I was gonna ask, what is the cause, of your voice sounding like that? Like, why does that have that sound?
Well, when I was a kid, I always used to get taken to the doctors because I always had strep throat, and for some reason, I was always like, my throat was always sore and I was always in pain, and it just kept reoccurring, and finally, I ended up getting surgery, on my throat, and they said that it was going to, affect my vocal cords or whatever, and so that's basically why I have my voice like that, but I'm able to talk normal. I feel fine. It doesn't hurt when I talk. I don't have any issues with my throat anymore or anything like that. So that's basically the reason why that. But the killer always ribs me. It's funny.
It's really awesome, bro. But you were talking about what led you into being the heavyweight champion.
Truthfully, it was just like, I feel like it was on a bug, like because, I don't think that at the time that there was like a true direction, for NXTV or where it would go. I think that when I became champion, that NXTV was still sort of in its growing process, which it still is right now, but, it's really grown like a whole lot since, we first started it. And I think that that's what it was, so because I wrestled Tyrone Andre, and, they based everything off of the number one contenders, and if you're in a tag team and you're the tag team champions and you're consistently winning with the tag team belts, then, meanwhile, while you're, dominating in the tag team divisions, you're also moving up in the heavyweight ranks because you're collecting wins, although you collected them together, and so that's kind of how it played out. So it's not really a fluke, but, it's just like, it wasn't like I was the chosen guy or anything like that. It wasn't like I was ready to be the main eventer. You know what I'm saying? Like at the time, I didn't feel like I was ready. I didn't feel like I was the main event. I felt like Tyrone, and probably, maybe Justin Jr., somebody like that. Those guys, the bigger guys in stature. And I thought that I would have to just prove myself more and, really climb my way up. But people truly responded positively to, B-Boy and I's tag team matches. And, we became like a major part of the show, the tag team title run. So, I remember they even put you guys in the intro. Yeah, it's a big deal when we won the tag titles. It was a big deal. And, we defended them, all the time. We fought like nearly every team that there is there. And I wasn't ready to become the heavyweight champion. But, I beat Tyrone, I beat him. And honestly, when I fought him, honestly, you talk about shit, and then, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I feel like Tyrone's a bit overhyped because, they push him as a shooter or whatever. But honestly, when I fought him, I've beaten Tyrone. Tyrone's never beaten me. He can't say that he's ever beaten me, and I've beaten Tyrone like twice already. And, he just kind of just walks away from me because he knows that, he can't really mess with me. He doesn't have the skills. He's kind of very, one-dimensional. A lot of people like him. Don't get me wrong. And that's cool. I'm not trying to diss him or nothing like that. But to me, he just, he's just a bit of a hype. I mean, when he carries the belt, he doesn't really make it mean anything. He's just a big guy with the belt. But maybe it's kind of overstepping. I don't know. I mean, go ahead, bro. It's it's your interview, bro. It's just what I think, But not, and I don't know. We're all in a situation where we're trying to grow and get to the next level or whatever. So like I said, it's not to bash him. It's just that I feel like the heavyweight championship has to mean something. And even I can even talk about myself, because just recently in the Iron Sharpens Iron steel cage match, 2 out of 3 falls, like I wasn't myself, and like ever since I crossed over to 2K18, I really haven't really felt like myself, so it could be that sometimes, but it's just that like King Kong, honestly, to this point, and this is why I'm saying all this, because, not necessarily to put him over, but King Kong is perhaps, at this point in time, the best champion that there's been for NXTV, because he's actually doing something with their championship. Even though it's bloody wrong, and it's, kind of disgraceful, but it's still a throwback to the NWO. So, everybody sort of gets it, and, it's like whether wink or not, it's like what he does is not really evil and malicious, but it's, quite entertaining. And He's linked up with the guys from AOA, and it's just like, like he's made the championship mean something. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like he's the champion, he's the heavyweight champion, and he's in the main storyline. I mean, it's like this to me. And like even though NXT is just a baby, to me, this is the first time that the belt has meant something, and it's involved in something that's important. And it's like even with my title run, it's like I was the longest running champion. When I was champion, I just made it a point to win. And entertain the crowd. You know what I mean? It's like when I get out there, I say what I say. I come from my point of view, and then I'm pretty much short and sweet. I do all my talking in the ring, and I'm a winner. I win. I win more than I lose, and that's what I'm saying, man. The belt's just gotta mean something.
Yeah, it does, bro. That's a good point that you make. But it's like, King Kong is a guy who has been around in XTV, and we were even thinking about this, bro. It's like the fact that King Kong is like one of the most original guys, like going all the way back to the first days of NXTV, bro. Like when you think about, who was the first guy? It was A-Man, and it was Baby, and it was King Kong. Like they were the original three, bro. And when you look at things like Big Ten Money, aka A-Man, he's like his legacy in XTV, as far as people in XTV know, like it's unmatched. And then you can say the same thing about Baby, aka Yosi, and then now, like, since even though King Kong did have that one title reign that one title run when he was just a savage and running through everybody, he still really didn't have that moment or that time period where he was like, a thing, to that level. You know what I mean? Like, you look at Yosi, and she's just been involved in like countless storylines. Like she was, captured by Sus, and just like all these different things that has happened to Yosi, and then Big Ten Money and his SIDE legacy, and then what he did in XTV, and then what he did in the earlier days, and being an announcer and all those things. But King Kong, outside of having that one title run, like he never really had anything, and so it's like for him to be reincarnated this way, and then come back, and then present day be the guy that's on top is like so full circle, bro.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there, and it's like, yeah. And, it's, this is the first time where NXTV is thinking about it, and they're going, we need a guy on top that's going to be, that's going to, give people a reason to watch our show, and so like, I think it's great. I really think it's great, and I hope it lasts. Because it's a really cool thing. But even if it's like, like if we're just in it right now, and then it passes, because that's kind of how wrestling is now. Everybody just kind of moves on to the next thing. But it would be nice to have this kind of have a nice slow burn to it. Because I don't have to be the longest reigning champion. 2 months or 3 months. I don't even know how long it was. It's just what they tell me. But, I'd like to see, King Kong just hold on to the heavyweight championship for like a whole year straight or something like that. And then, have all the baby faces trying to chase him. And then, you get this like one major baby face, and, then, King Kong finally does the job or something like that. Whoever that may be. You know what I mean? It could be like, anyone. And, that'd be just like, it could be someone like Henry, because Henry, he just recently made his debut, and he's like really good too. I hope he gets over, because, he's really funny. He's, of course, it's Beast's kid, man. It's like, he cracks everybody up, we just recently got Taurus and Aaron back. They're they were a real great addition to the locker room. It's like avoid there without them. And it's like NXTV, like we're like a family. Because especially we're so much closer now because everybody came back over. It's like they were like, oh, we're not gonna get. Well, we didn't. Chris Major didn't come back, and certain people like Tasha, and there's others. Brittany, Brittany and Jessica, they were here, but they got released.
Yeah, I heard about that. Like there was this big cut.
Yeah, I think those people that you don't see, on TV, like those people have been cut, but pretty much the original core of the family, outside of Chris Major, I think, everybody else came back though. Like even Danny McGee came back, and we were kind of worried, like damn, the people not gonna bring back Tulsa and Aaron, we think they're gone, because there's such rivers.
I heard about that. Like, do you remember like seeing them pull any ribs?
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, it's fucked up too. Well, I was with them the other day, man. Me and David, and we're just with them. Just kind of hanging out. We went to the local this fast food place actually. I was just with them, and dude, they just go over, to this lady, man, and as they're walking out the door, like I see Taurus sort of give Aaron this look, and I guess they kind of preconceived this thing, man. But they were, I guess they, talked about it because they did go off like into the men's room, and right before we walked out, like Aaron grabs like he has his cup, like he's gonna drink it, and he just like douses this old lady, man. Like this old couple, they're just sitting across from each other, and the lady's got her back turned, and she's just like old lady, man. She's like old and grey, bro. And Aaron just takes this large cup of water, like a large Burger King cup, full of ice and like full of soft drink, and and he just doused out, like he just poured it over the top of her head. And this lady's like freaking out, and her husband's pissed off, and they like take off running, and we're just standing there like me and B-boy, we're just like just got our hands up like they're gonna shoot us or something. Whoa, bro. Yeah, man, it was fucked up, but we laughed about it. They thought it was so funny, and they took off running, bro. But so that's just like that's how they are, and they that's it. The reason I thought that was the reason that they got suspended, in the first place, for pulling ribs and taking things too far.
Have they ever pulled like a rib on Miss Martha?
No, man, no one pulls a rib on Miss Mother. I mean, she's so sweet, man. She's so awesome, man. No one would do that to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had to know, bro. I mean, because, and I have to get her back, but, I had her on this show last year. She's just like, she's so warming, bro.
She's the best, she really is. She's truly awesome. Everybody loves her. And it's like, she's not leaving or nothing like that, but it feels like she's leaving,
Exactly. Like, she made the announcement that she's not going to be the commissioner anymore. And, like, I think Killer was going, like, wow, that's so sad. And we're like, she's promoting Orlando, and you guys are crying because she's leaving, bro. It's like, wow. What impact?
like I said, we're all a family, man. It's like for everybody to come over, like I was saying, to 2K18, and with this being Miss Martha's vision, she promised that she was going to deal fairly with everybody, and she has. She kept her promise, She treats everybody, like, on an individual basis, and it's like really, really a cool thing, man. It's just like, it's crazy how, we just became, a family like that. It's just, I've never had anything like this in my whole career, because I've always, sort of moved, from here to there, it's like, I get a gig here, I get a gig there, and, that's kind of how I got my name, I got booked because of, kind of the buzz, it was like, a word of mouth kind of thing, once B-Boy and Roxy were, over here and everything. And so, I just became, I got my rise on the indie scene, over in the UK, and I just moved around, I traveled everywhere over there, and that's how I got my name. But, just by bouncing, but, over here, it's just like, I'm here at this one place, and, it's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable, man. It's like, and then you get like new people and they come in, and they just, they fit right in, man. It's like, they were meant to be like, a part of the family. Like, I remember when Raylan first came in, man, and it's like, she was always just like, off in the shadows, like, over in the cut, and it's funny because, Shadow's the one that, kind of, sort of introduced her, speaking, it's just crazy, because he's the one that's always over in the corner just, reading a book or whatever. He's just reading, and, keeping to himself. Everybody knows, yeah, that's Shadow, he's just so wise or whatever. You can just walk up to him and ask him anything, and he just, he's got this, intense, very wise answer that's so deep, because he just has been reading his whole freaking life, but it's like, there's not, it's almost like, there's not enough room for two dark people, or whatever like that, two dark people in the room,
How is she now? I mean, is she like, more?
I mean, she's quiet, what I mean? She's like, she's quiet, but, she just kind of, I don't know, man. She's a part of it, She's such a major part. It's like, I don't. It's crazy, man. She's over because she has this natural charisma. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I don't know. It's like she doesn't really have to be a talker like that.
Well, she talks on the show. It's crazy. It's like, what I mean? It's like, and that's why people, I think have gravitated to her, because on the show, by you seeing her on the show, you wouldn't think that she's just such a quiet, person.
Yeah, I think she's like the quietest one besides Shadow. Like those two are just kind of, but I mean, she's, she's Johnny Money's shoot girlfriend.
How is that? Like, I mean, with Jackie Z being in the middle of everything, like, have you seen, any of that?
For sure, he walks around with them both. It's unbelievable, man. It's unfucking believable.
That's awesome, bro.
He does, man. And it's like, I don't know the deal with the storyline, man, but, it feels like a bloody shoot, man. It's like, everybody always talked about J Money and Raylan. Like, truthfully, man, they always talked about how, there's this perfect couple, and it's like, man, we never see them fight, you never see them argue, and then, but there was always, like this small speck, and I don't know who brought it up. I think it was like, James, James Strong. I think he goes, yeah, but I don't know if it was him. I don't want to misquote, but whoever the person was, they go, Johnny Money has Raylan come out in his matches, but Raylan doesn't have Johnny Money come out in her matches. It's like, how fair is that? And so, it was just a little small little detail. that was off. That was, you know, it was like imperfect and this like perfect balance. And then storyline wise, they took that and they ran with it. And now we have what we have. And then, you know, they brought back Jackie Z, and it's like, oh shit, you know, because she was there first. So it's like, you know, she's not wrong for being there. You know, she wanted to do the movie, and then she came back just like she said she would. And now she's here, but, you know, she's with Raylan, so, you know, it's one of those things that was like, that's why I say I think it's a play shoot, because, you know, like, this is one of those things, this wasn't planned. You know, it was like, Raylan and Johnny Money were put together because Jackie Z left, and, you know, J Money's gimmick is he has a valet, no matter what, like, no matter hill or babyface, you know, no matter circumstance, he's going to come out with a girl. Like, even in the indies, I've ever listened to him, you know, and he's always have, you know, like a girl on his side. That's his thing. You know, sometimes he has two girls. It's like, no. That's why I'm just like, how the fuck this guy do it? You know, like, you know, he came to a sports show, you know, across seas, you know, once, and, you know, he had like two completely different girls. It was just like, then he comes over here and they're just like, okay, we're going to give you her, we're going to give you her. It's like, give me a fucking girl.
Exactly, bro.
You know, just give me a fucking girl, you know. That would be cool. Yeah.
Well, you guys did have Malia, and then she turned on you.
Yeah, you know, she's worked herself into a sheet, man. But, you know, I wish her good luck, man. You know, I love Malia. But yeah, she's worked herself into a sheet, man. It's crazy. You know, it's like, that's that good shit, man. You know, that's the real shit. And that's what I'm talking about, like, when I mentioned Tyrone, man, you know, because I know I'm going to get shit for that. You know, but it's true. You know, it's just like, you have to make an impact. You know, you have to do something that means something, you know what I mean? And it's like, even myself, man, you know, I don't feel like, you know, I've even done that, you know, yet. Like, I haven't had that storyline, I haven't had that, you know, that match, you know what I mean? You know, I've had some cool matches, you know, I've had some good stuff that people liked, and, you know, that's cool, but I know I've got so much more to offer, you know, because, you know, it's like, even if I hadn't ever became the champion, it's like I would still feel like I'm not at that spot yet, you know, because, like, main event guys are main event guys. It's like, there's a reason that they're main event guys. And that's, you know, I chose to go to the tag team division. You know, it's like putting me back in the tag teams. I don't want to, you know, wrestle as a single just yet. You know what I mean? I want to do something with B-Boy, you know, and get this tag team over, you know what I mean? And that's because that was our idea. You know, they had Manuel, and before he was with Enziguri, he was with Ray Ray. But Ray Ray, you know, ended up getting hurt, you know, and now I know this is for the Spanish team, but, you know, they were a team, and, you know, they had like this list of, you know, tag teams, you know, for the tag team division. But now the tag team division is sort of, you know, sort of slim, you know, so to speak. And so, you know, now that's why I want to, you know, be in a place where I can help out the division.
Yeah, and you know, I've heard rumblings about that, and you know, I understand that they're going to be bringing in people. You know, I heard about Walter and Kevon.
Yeah, you know, they keep saying Walter. Yeah, he's probably going to make his debut soon, probably. You know, that would be cool. But you know, it's growing. You know what I mean? And then like. It's like, the problem with our tag team division is this. Is every time we bloody gain a new tag team, we lose a tag team. So it's like, we gained, like, what was Lucas? Authors of Pain, you know, Good 1 and 2, whatever, Rizal and Akam, whatever. We gained those guys, but then we lost Kareem and Bray Wyatt. You know, it's like, damn, and then right there was two teams because you could have added Luke Harper and Eric Rowan to the mix, you know, the Bludgeon Brothers. You know, you could have had that. But, you know, we couldn't get that. And it's like, you know, bloody hell, man. Yeah, but that's what keeps happening. Then what happened recently? We lost it. Oh, no. Well, I can't say, see? I can't say. I almost gave something away.
Yeah, because you guys have a big show coming up.
We got actually not tomorrow. It's actually coming up Sunday. It's gonna come out Sunday. It's supposed to be out Monday. So you guys check out for Orlando. But yeah, we gain a team, we lose a team. And that's been the story of the tag team division. But I love tag team wrestling. And B-Boy and I came into NXTV to become, not only to become tag team champions, to make history as a tag team. We want to make the division stand out, and there's a way to do that. The way the 2K series is engineered, tag team matches, it's almost like sometimes they can tend to drag, but I think that we can, if we can find a team, if we can find like those two teams, like it would be like me and us, and if we can, like me and B-Boy against like somebody, like a formidable team. Like I think Manuel and Nezaguri, we could have like a great program with them because both of those guys are so fire, And it's like I think there would be such a great series of matches, to go against them. It could be fast paced. I could fly. B-Boy could fly. It's like, I think that would be great. But I think that's what the tag team division needs mostly. It's just two strong teams that can go back and forth for the tag team titles. Meanwhile, all these other teams are developing and building themselves up, and then it's like, then that story could be told, because, I can't remember the last time, and SmackDown's doing it right now. SmackDown is developing teams, but it's been a long time since tag team wrestling was truly represented, man.
Yeah, it's like you don't really see teams like you and B-Boy. Like you guys are British Airways, and it's like so many times already. It's like we keep mentioning the fact that NXTV is like so new, and in its infancy, within its first year, everybody was kind of speculating that B-Boy and Xketcz wouldn't be a thing. That they were going to break up. And like, even when you went on your title run, and like, now you're saying, no, I insist that we have, a tag team division. Oh, even though you've captured the tag team titles and the heavyweight championship, you still feel like you have, more things to accomplish, in the divisions.
Exactly, man. Especially the tag team division, British Airways, I think, could be like, it can go down in the history of tag team divisions. I'm just, thinking about like the teams of old, like I remember, in WWE, once upon a time, man, and this probably goes back, too far for some people. Well, I'm not sure, but, I like watched the 90s wrestling. Like, that's my favorite era. In wrestling, and I just love this, like the Nasty Boys and like Legion of Doom and like Natural Disasters and the Beverly Brothers, just like Money Incorporated, the Steiner Brothers, it's like so many teams all at one time, like the two Mounties, Bret and Owen even at one time, it's just like all these teams, all together at one time. There's one tag team that's the tag team champions, but meanwhile, all these other teams are. I remember when I used to watch wrestling sometimes, man, like I would forget who were the tag team champions because I would see like somebody like the Natural Disasters or like LOD come out or like the Nasty Boys come out or something like that, and I'm seeing these guys and I'm thinking that they're so cool, but then I think to myself, wait a minute. Who's the tag team champions? Oh, damn, it's Money Inc. or somebody like that. And it's like, that's when you know that you've got a stellar tag team division, man. But, that's hard to develop, in this day and age, especially, when NXTV has like 5 matches on the court, every week. So to get those 7 matches, that's at the pay-per-views, But I don't know. I mean, I think that they could, do things like, pre-shows and stuff like that as well, for the pay-per-views and the live events.
Yeah, I've heard that they're thinking about like doing pre-shows now, and they want to put them up on XTV East Coast. So, it's almost like the days of old when like the free for all would come on, and then like it would go off after like 30 minutes after they just hyped the crap out of the upcoming pay-per-view event, and then it goes off and you're just like you're standing there in front of the TV wishing it would come back, like, and then you turn to the pay-per-view channel and you just watch it on the scrambly, and it's just like but at that time you couldn't even hear it though. I don't think, like, they used to just completely mute it out.
Yeah, man. I want to bring back tag team wrestling, man. I want people to understand that there's definitely a place in wrestling for tag team psychology, and I mean, you look at what they do in Japan, man. The 6-mans and the 8-mans. I think that would be cool. Because this year we've got 8-man tags now. So I think that it would be so cool to have a card that's all 6-mans and 8-mans. It could be like all 6-mans, and then it leads up to like this big 8-man tag or something like that. Or like, and you can work it too, because it's not like the matches won't be too long, because you can have like the first 6-man match, right? So it's like only one fall, only one pinfall, right? And then you'd have like maybe a tag team match, like a regular tag team match. Then you could book another 6-man match. This time, maybe it's elimination, or no, you pick an 8-man elimination match. Then after that, no, you pick okay, this is how you start. No, seriously this time. Go ahead, bro. Seriously. Yeah, you start it off, it's a 6-man tag match, all right? Regular match. Then the next match, a tag team match, all right? Then you build to it, and you give them the 8-man tag. But it's not elimination. Then you give them, like maybe a tornado tag or something like that. Throw it off. It'd be like the night of tag team actions. 5th match, 6-man elimination, and then you could finish off with an 8-man elimination. And that's your 2-hour event right there, man. It's just like, if you put the right guys in the right spots and tell the right stories, you know what I mean? Because it's like, that's another thing. It's like, where are the stables at? NWN, they're stable. It's like Torres and Aaron, like they had Miss Pac-Man, they kind of had a thing. It's like Tyrone Andre, he had a thing, but it's like they kind of faded away and it just dwindled. Because at first, like Tyrone Andre had he had Carmen, and then he had his trainer, and he had a manager. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's like they were like an entourage. Like, that was such a cool image at the time. You know what I mean? And it's like Derek Knox died, and then the other guy got fired. Sorry, but Ababa he's talking about, bro. Yeah, man. They fired him. They said, he wasn't really good.
What did he do, bro? He just stood there. He never said anything. Derek Knox did all the talking.
They were trying some, he made his first ever appearance on an XTV game. We can say that.
His first and his last, bro. Oh, bro, this has been so good. I don't even know where to go from there, bro. I'm just gonna light this.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Tell us a little bit about like your name and like how you came up with that name.
I think I told people all that, I said this in my intro for that XTV title tournament. But my name is Xketcz because actually I got it from a character off of Sister Act 2. I got my name from him. But I didn't want my name to be sketch, like the way you say it. You know what I mean? Or the way you spell it, rather. I wanted it to be like different. I wanted it to look like just something funky, man. Like that, that's why it's spelled like that. It's just like,
How do you spell your name, bro?
it's the letter X, K, A, T, C, Z. That's how you spell my name. I almost forgot it myself, but that's how you spell it.
It looks like it says Xketcz.
Because the way I was thinking about it, it's like okay, you get the X and the K to make the sk sound, right? And then it's like, if you think of the word like Czechoslovakia, you know what I mean? And that's where the CZ comes from. So it's Xketz, sketch. You know what I mean? And it's like, X to Z. That's another thing that I consciously thought of. I wanted it to be like X to Z. You know what I'm saying? I was going to when I was thinking about my gimmick or whatever, I was trying to think of like a way to make it X to Z, you know what I mean? And implement that. I haven't, done any of that on TV or nothing like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you definitely I think you represent that well, bro. Like, like even in a lot of your outfits, you come in like, just like a whole lot of drawing, a whole lot of artwork, just like, all over everywhere, airbrushed and things like that.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of that lately, on 2K18. I'm going to. I've been meaning to, I just now recently, got new gear. But I think I'm going to start, getting more airbrush stuff and, a whole lot of cool designs. It has to be really cool though. It has to be really, stand out-ish. It definitely has to stand out. Else I won't wear it. Like, it can't just be like, it can be like I can see something that's like the most badass drawing, but it just doesn't have enough vividness to it. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's got to pop out, and really stand out. People and I, that's another thing we have in common. It's like, we like to really be very colorful, and it's like, although we have that same taste, like B-Boy kind of takes it overboard, you know what I mean?
Exactly, bro. Like, trust me, I know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, he just takes it, just to that next step, which is, for him it's fine, to me it works. Like, all the tassels and all that I can do without, you know what I mean? But, for him it's cool. And then, because, he thinks that I take it too far with the airbrush. He thinks that, it's just like way too much. It's like, bro, you're overdoing it, keep it simple. I'm like, you're telling me, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But, no, it's great, like a lot of times, what we used to do is when we used to first tag together, we would just, say a color, you know what I mean? Like, what are we wearing tonight? Just like, nah, we went blue and, blue and red, you know what I mean? It's like, all right. So you just find something that's blue and red because our outfits never matched, like since day one. Like, we never wore the exact same thing, but the idea is to show the individualism of each of us, but, still look like a tag team, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like when those teams are like, they're not a team yet, but they look like they should be, because they're wearing the same colors.
Yeah, you can say that, something like that. But it's like, that's the whole idea, man. And he just wears those funky ass boots, man. It's just like, people, enough already, Get away from Davey Boy Smith, please.
He's so stuck on that, bro. Like, that's so 2013, and we're moving into 2018, bro.
Let go already, B-Boy. The people have had enough of it.
And he's really getting a tremendous rub, bro, from Killer. I mean, and just like this whole run, like B-Boy now is like the best B-Boy we've ever seen. Like this is, he's getting to that main event spot.
Well, he's got, XTV03, he's got him versus Killer. And, it's a big deal. It's something that, people are really looking forward to. And, yeah, man, I mean, his plan worked. That was his original plan. He said, he told me, he says that all the time. He tells everybody, he's like, Xketcz is going to get me over, and I'm going to get him over. And to me, I'm not sure if I can't think of a time in wrestling where something like this has ever happened. Where there's like you get this, but maybe it has. If I think about it, because I'm going to probably get shit for that, for not being able to think of a team who, it's like you get this one guy and he's like not a big deal, but you got this other guy who's a nobody. You know what I mean? So you get this guy who's people know who he is, but they don't care, right? That's B-Boy. And then they got me, who they just don't know, right? And then you put them together, and they can help each other out, because now everybody's going. They're looking at B-Boy and they're going, "Hey, who's your friend?" And I try my best to wow the crowd. I want to have, crazy moves, and he's the one that encouraged me. He's like, I want you to wow the crowd, because B-Boy, trust, and like my style of wrestling, with all the aerial stuff like that used to be his style, you know what I mean? But he changed his whole gimmick up, and he got bigger, he got more buff and everything, and became more of a power wrestler, so to speak. He uses his strength, and he was like, "Yeah, I want you to, have the cool moves, and I'll just do the, technical work. I'll do some stuff sometimes, if it calls for it. You know what I mean?" But I'm like, "Bro, you're gonna, totally shit to that, And for a while, it was starting to look like, that happened. It was starting to look like, he completely shut the bed. When I was, being the champion, but he stayed relevant by not only, accompanying me to my matches, keeping our tag team alive, but, he also, spoke on my behalf. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't just, stay in the background while I was, the front man. Mm-hmm. He's always like, he knows what he's doing, man, and he's smart for doing it. And, at Iron Sharp Design, he puts it out, that's improv. Every time you see us on screen doing something, it's so improv, just like right there on the spot. And he's like, "Yeah, after you beat King Kong, you can give me a title shot." And, that's why I respond how I respond. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll give you a title shot. I'll give anybody a title shot, whoever it may be." And, it was so cool, I was looking forward to actually doing that. But I think that night, man, I just, I had my head on my ass. And it's probably the worst match I've ever had, to be honest. I completely, speaking of shit in the bed, I shit in the bed. It was my worst performance ever. It got rated a disaster, and it was just like, it was a bad night at the office. Definitely my worst match ever. And it was my first time on 2K. I should have practiced. I should have practiced. That's not a thing that people do. Like, they don't. We never go out and wrestle each other. Before the matches. And it's it's very rare that we even go out. We don't even do live events. Even the way they started doing on 17. I guess that's because a lot of the West Coast guys haven't crossed over to 18 yet, but it's still they're on team. That many live events either. I had a match the other day. I just jumped in. Got a nice, pretty nice reaction. But I just did my thing out there. Every time I go out, in front of the boys, I always try to, always try to engage with them, no matter what, just, get something from them. I think that, I feel like the best way to get over as far as in XTV is, just be vocal. You just have to talk, and whether they like you or not initially, they'll learn to love you, you know what I mean? That's my philosophy on that. Because, as long as you show a little bit personality, you're not a pushover, people are going to respect you. They'll respect that.
I agree with that, bro. I agree with that wholeheartedly. As we're winding down here, bro, I want to know two questions. First question is, what has been your favorite match that you had? And the second question is, who's your dream opponent, or what's your dream match, bro?
I feel like my favorite match that I've had. Truthfully, I don't. You know what it was? You know what my favorite match was, man, and it's not even Ed. It was You have so many matches that you love that are not on TV, bro. It sucks, man, because me and B-Boy took on Blake and Murphy, and I think we did fight on TV before. I'm not sure. I think we fought on TV, but this was a non-TV match, and we tore the roof off that place. Like, we really did, man. And like, I got color, one of the other guys got color. We got a highlight. I think it's on TLI XTV on like the first episode. And it was that matchup. I think that's the only documentation we have from that match. But that's my favorite match that I've ever been in, here in XTV. That's been my favorite match, definitely. The singles, as far as singles matches, one that might come close might be the match I had with Justin Jr. I think maybe. I think so. The one with Justin Jr. That's the only one right now that I can think of that's a singles match. But the tag team match is definitely my all-time favorite against Blake and Murphy. That was so awesome. Everybody was on cue, and that is the type of match that I mean. It had so much fire, so much excitement. The crowd was happy. It was another good one. And they uploaded it to XTV World. And now I think about it, because I thought about the crowd. It was against Taurus and Aaron. We had a really good match against them, and they went over, I think. Yeah, they went over. And that was a really good match, So, if I had to choose, I would, but I think still the Blake and Murphy match, though. We did some phenomenal things, man. I don't want to, try to get into detail because, you can't go back and watch it. But that was a good one. But the one you can watch is on XTV World, though. I think it's just uploaded by itself. They said it's one of the best matches, of the year. And I agree. It's a great match. As far as opponents that I would like to face, I really would like to face, I think that me and B-Boy, honestly, not to wrestle in a program or have a confrontation. It's not that. Because, I think, me and B-Boy, we grapple all the time. We roll around the ring all the time, but, if we were to do it for real, though, and get in there and, make the better man win, I think that would be really good. He's having an Iron Man match, and, if I could fight B-Boy in an Iron Man match, that would be cool. But, besides David B-Boy, I think, I feel like, the fans will like, me and Johnny Money. I think that would be a good match as well. I think that I would like to try him because we have similar styles because we both, can do like a lot of acrobatic things. We both are quick on our feet. And, yeah, and I think that's why they kept us away from each other, thus far, because of the fact that we're so similar, in styles, and they book you guys like way different as well too. It's like, he's got this singles run, and we talked about him and the girls, and it's like,
you're doing, you had your singles run, but you're with a tag team. I think people recognize you as that, being with B-Boy and as a tag team.
Yeah, when I break out as a single, although I had this title run, and it's not to, look down on it, but there's gonna be a time because I plan on going for that championship again, and there's a 90-day rematch clause. You know what I mean? You know, and I'm not in a hurry to be the world champion. I want to be in the tag team division, man. I want to make the tag team division something. It's like my mission. It's one of the reasons I came here. It's like I said, it's what me and B-Boy agreed to do. So that's what I want to do. And it's like I'm not worried about if 90 days run out because honestly, I don't have. I told you, when we're at the top of that tag team division, making it the number one thing, or making it one of the hardest things, us being at the top of that division is going to cross over to the heavyweight division anyway. So it's like, there's not going to be a problem with me, becoming heavyweight champion or going for that championship. I will even, it's like, I don't even have a problem with B-Boy doing it first, if he became champion. I think he would be a great champion for NXT. I think it'd be a great, babyface representation. I think the B-Boy and King Kong would have a great program together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you definitely have some great ideas.
I'm always thinking about things. I'm always thinking about matches. I'm always thinking about concepts and, what would be cool. What people could do better. People, they're like, buzz off. I'm always telling people, it's like, man, maybe if you did this, a lot of people don't want to hear that. They're just like, get the hell away.
Are you close with Johnny Money?
Yeah, everybody is pretty much, close. It's like we've grown a bond together. But yeah, me and J Money are good. We share ideas. We're not as close as me and B-Boy, but we're good though. We're good.
That's really cool, man. Well, thanks for doing this sketch. It's great to finally be able to sit down here in my own home and chit chat with you. And now we're gonna stay up and play video games, bro. Thanks for doing this, man.
No problem, man.
All right, bros. There it is. My interview with Xketcz. Like I said, bro, really cool guy, really laid back. Got a really good handle on what he wants to do in NXT. I've never heard anybody say that they don't want to go for the heavyweight championship and they want to go for the tag team champions. It's usually so backwards, bro. But Xketcz is a guy who sticks to his guns. He knows what he wants. He knows absolutely the legacy that he wants to lead. And I think he's doing that right now, bro. He realizes where he is, and I think that's very humble. He mentioned being humbled by the fact that, so many fans have been, reaching out to him saying, he's, really cool. We talked about, J&W Boss, who we're partners with here in XTV. Shout out to J&W, bro. He's a fan of Xketcz. He said that that's probably his favorite guy. And, I think that's wonderful. So yeah, there it is, bros. You already know nothing but the best guests and the freshest stuff here on the New Millennium Podcast. What a way to kick off the new year. And coming up is my live show, bro. I'm saying it right here. That's right. I'm saying it right here that my live show is actually going to be with Justin Jr. this year, bro. So look out. The New Millennium Podcast live at the Tampa Theater with Justin Jr. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. Of course, we did David B. Boy, and Sketch made a small appearance on that podcast live that took place last year. You can go back into the archives on XTV East Coast to check that out. But in the meantime, and between time, bros, we're about to roll up out of here. Isn't that right, Trunks?
I'm on 2 days and I ain't doing shit. A motherfucking thing. Cause I live my life to the fullest cause I love it. If you don't, so.
Oh, man. Well, I don't know if you were able to hear it that time, but anyways, just as I promised, Big Chunks D-Matic giving us the sound bites. I'm Brian Millman. Thank you for checking out the show. And until next time, guys, chill!